All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another one of my interviews here on Drip Talk with Blake the Snake Roberts. I have a very special guest with me on the show today. He is a former WWE referee he worked with WWE from 2009 to 2014. He also has worked for the companies Impact Wrestling and WoW, which is right now Women's of Wrestling. And for WWE, he has worked on SmackDown, Raw, and NXT. He is no other than also a current referee, no other than Marc Harris. So we'll get him on in here, and we will start on with the interview.
Hello, how you doing?
Hello, I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing well. Can't complain.
Right. Well, I thank you for taking your time to do this interview.
Okay. Sure.
So, the first question I'll ask you is, when did you start getting into the wrestling business, and what made you want to do wrestling?
I always watched it as a child growing up. To me, it was sort of like unattainable. Like, I didn't think it was possible that I can get into that business. I actually started, I was a sports agent when I actually started. So I would do uh, appearances with football, baseball, basketball, hockey, soccer, you name it. I was doing appearances with those guys. So one day, I had some wrestlers that I had to take care of. So we did the appearance, and I dropped them off at the building, and the promoters asked me if I could fill in for his referee. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't understand what to do. Like, don't worry, they'll get you through it. Just, listen. So, you know, it's my first one was on a TV spot for a referee. So we got through it, and it was like, okay, well, see you next week. And I was like, what do you mean next week? He's like, well, my referee's out for the next 2 months. I was like, okay. All right, I'll see you then. So after the 2 months was up, I did so good that they wanted me, so they kept me. So that's how. So 30 years later, I'm still doing it.
Wow. Yeah. Since reffing for the WWE and big time reffing, what has your life looked like for you now, and what have you been doing since then?
Well, this is all I do right now, pretty much. So I currently referee for all Caribbean wrestling, and that's over. We do most of our shows in the Caribbean, but we also do shows in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Atlanta. Um, some consider it the indie part, but it's not indie because it's not ran like an indie company. So it's, as a matter of fact, we do more and travel just as much as the big ones, the big three. So I just got back from Jamaica last week, and we're doing the Bahamas next on October 19th. We have some big names in the Bahamas for that. We have Mark Henry, we have Teddy Long, we have a few surprises. So JTG. So we have a lot of big names that are with us. Elijah Burke. So yeah, we travel a lot, and we're in Trinidad. We are everywhere. So
Nice. It sounds like it's going to be a good show for you. So
yeah, it's one of our biggest ones. So we're always great in the Bahamas. So the Bahamas is a bigger venue because we packed it out last time. It was packed out to the sold out. So
wow.
yeah, our promoter, he's a very knowledgeable. He knows what he's doing from the top to the bottom. We're like family, so we get along that way. We work great together. So he has a good head for the business. So he tends to achieve when he puts his mind to it. So
Right. Yeah. What age were you when you officially knew you wanted to become a pro wrestling referee?
Um, I was 22. I didn't I didn't think it was possible. So I mean, literally that day, I found it was possible. I mean, I was never trained. I was never went to wrestling school. I was never taught the proper way. I was sort of baptism by fire. So as I learned as I went on.
Wow, nice. Wow.
Yeah, even my trial with the WWE came about by them knowing they know a lot about things that they know where you are, how to get a hold of you when they need you. So,
Yeah,
yeah, this is a big company, and they gave me my shot, my opportunity. So I took it and ran with it. So
definitely. I mean, who wouldn't, right? With like the biggest company in the world. So,
yeah, they actually it was I was actually working in a veterinary hospital doing surgery when I got the call. So I saw the 203 number. I thought it was a joke, and they called, and I hit ignore. Called again. I thought it was a joke again. Hit ignore. Finally, this time a text message came across, and I read it, and I was like, "Oh my god!" So I immediately called him back, and of course, he gave me the cold shoulder for a minute, and then he asked me, "Could I was I interested in becoming a referee for them, and could I make it out to Las Vegas for Raw?" And I said, "Yeah, I can do that." So I went to Vegas for Raw, and I knew right then that I had the position because Johnny Laurinaitis was asking. I have a tattoo on my arm, and he asked if right there, he's like, "Do we have anything you can cover his tattoo with on TV?" So from that point on, I knew I had it. So
right. Yeah.
but there's really no. At the time when I went down there was no book for what to do when you get down there, and developmental, and you have to learn their ways of cameras, angles, shots, and their way is what they want. So you have to go down there, and they don't tell you how long it'll be down there, or the ins and outs. So you sort of learn as you go. Now it's a lot more, a lot more positioned. But before it was hard. It was hard because you got to learn as you go.
Yep. You're probably learning everything every night, I'm guessing, right?
Well, you got to think down there when you do developmental, you're like there at the building Monday through Friday. They would tape TV on Thursdays, so we did all day Thursday. So you have to think of how many matches you're doing and going through. So, and then we may have a show a Friday and a Saturday, sometimes on Sunday. So we were doing matches and learning TV angles. And Wednesday was promo day, so the referees ran the promo class. Dusty would oversee it, and we have to go up there. One would be on camera, and one would be down giving hand signals for 60 seconds to a minute and a half, etc. So it was all learning experience. Nothing bad came out of it. It was all a learning experience. So
Yeah, of course. Did you watch wrestling ever as a kid? If so, who was your favorite growing up?
my favorite was Dusty Rhodes. Um, After that, I loved Arn Anderson. I liked just the whole style, and because Dusty was Dusty, he was a character bigger than life. So I mean, he could talk, he could dance, he could sing, charismatic. He could do it all. There was nothing he couldn't do.
Yeah, I
As a matter
agree.
of fact, he's the one that nicknamed me Junior. He he told me
Oh,
that I reminded him of his best friend when he was growing up, and named Junior. So he never called me Mark. It was always Junior, or as he would say, Junior. But not. Dusty was great.
definitely. Yeah. And as a childhood hero, you finally got to meet him in WWE, so that was probably really, really cool.
Well, too, and the great part is, I got to like one of his last matches. It was a 6-man tag. It was him, Cody, and Goldust against, I believe the Duke Busters. So that was one of the great things to do that.
Wow, that's insane. That's awesome.
Yeah. So between that, I'd say all the travel, because with WWE you can travel everywhere, get to go different places, Europe, Australia. So just in those places and getting to travel the world. I mean, I've had so many passports, it's ridiculous.
Right.
But same thing with all Korean wrestling, just to travel. I mean, that's one thing you can look forward to, just seeing different places.
Yep, of course. Yep. Who is some of your favorite
See,
wrestlers? What? Sorry.
oh, I said you had some questions you want to ask me.
Yeah. Who is your favorite wrestlers to watch nowadays if you watch the business?
Uh, let's see. I like Uso, Jimmy, Jimmy and Jay Uso, Roman. I mean, because I pretty much we all came at the same time. So seeing a main event, Jay Uso, see him do his thing and get a chance to shine. That's cool to see. And I like seeing Roman. Uh, I like seeing Solo, the whole bloodline. I mean, everything's interesting with how they're doing it and how they're. I'm waiting to see, just how it ends and how it takes over in different forms. I like seeing the Judgment Day or Ripley. Excellent, excellent worker. But it's a lot of seeing a lot of people because I come across them a lot because everybody's paths, our paths cross so much. I like Red Velvet. Red Velvet's great, and AEW. I like seeing Queen Aminata. She's great. Um, I mean, it's the whole landscape is changing so much. So there's a lot of talent out there that's finally getting a chance to be seen. So
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of great talent.
yeah.
Was there anybody who you would say inspired you family wise to get into the business?
Um, I would say no because no one really saw a part of it until I got back. So once I did developmental, everybody just got a chance to see what I do. My mom for the first, I think 90. I want to say '09 was the first time she got a chance to see me referee, and then for WWE I believe it was 2013. So um, it was good, being seen and trying to show people what I can do and able to do and all the because they miss all the flights and the driving and different hotels, airports. So get a chance to expose them to that and let them see some of it. Then they understand finally what it is. And like the pay-per-views, WrestleMania, those are big too. But it's fun to get a chance to let them see what you know that side of it.
Most definitely. Yeah. Right. What do you consider to be a weakness and a strength of yours as a referee in wrestling?
I think a strength is just all the years I put in because all those years are experience, and I can I can hand those down to other who want to know the experience part of it and the business part of it. I mean, I've been to the top, I've been to the bottom, I'm back to the middle. I mean, and I have experience with pretty much every company. I mean, except AEW, but I know most people in there, so I have a lot of ins and out knowledge of it. But I've worked with Force. Wow, now I'm being around it and not having to go to school to be taught that, but actually live it. A weakness is, what's the word? I don't have like a lot of time to, hang around and like deal with the politics and everything. So I'm not too, what's the word? I don't have a good level of, I don't put up with too much. I mean, at this age and experience, you shouldn't have to. I'm a direct person, so I like directness. I like that to be given. No, don't play around. No politics. Just straight to the point. Get to it.
Yeah, right. Yep. I know you just recently mentioned about the traveling and stuff. What was it? Was it hard for you to travel, and what is some of like the worst or best things out of traveling?
Well, traveling. I mean, that part of it because you see different countries. I love that part. But then, if it's like a long, long trip, I think like the longest I've been gone, I think it's been like 3 weeks straight. So that part where you're going 3 weeks straight, and missing your family, that sort of wears on you. But by the time you get back home, it's break time, so you rest for a little bit. But I think 3 weeks has probably been the longest time I've been away. But now generally I try to keep it under like 2 weeks or under. It's the going rate. But you see so much. I mean, you're with your family. That's your second family because you're with them just as much as you are with your regular family. So, we get to see, hear, and be around each other. But it's great when you're working with people that you get along with. You create this family. You know, that's a big part to it. So, but
Yep, most
yeah,
definitely.
other than that, I think just once it gets that long time away, I think that starts to wear on you. Just mentally and just missing your family. But right now, all my kids, my daughter, she turned 17 today, so this is the last one. So she's up doing her thing too, and they're growing up, and you miss a lot of time being on the road and birthdays and major holidays, and because when you're with them, there's shows pretty much every day. Every holiday's a show, so
Right. Yep.
I try to bring them along as much as yeah. But the show must go on, so
Yep. Definitely, if it's for like one of the big companies, like yeah. How did the crowd react when they seen you for the first time in the WWE as a referee, as somebody new in the WWE business?
um, I think the crowd reacted pretty good. I mean, I think the biggest reaction I felt was like WrestleMania, like walking that ramp, because when you hit that ramp, you really feel everything in the arena. I mean, the rumbles, everything you feel, and you can feel it and see it. Um, the biggest major one that sticks to mind is my WrestleMania that was in New York, New Jersey, and I had two title matches. I had the, I believe it was the Intercontinental with Miz versus Wade Barrett, and I had the tag titles with Kane and Daniel Bryan versus Big E and with AJ and Dolph Ziggler. So those are like the two biggest ones that stick to mind. One being the two title matches, and two because it was so cold out and it was an open arena. So people don't realize how cold it got in that time. So we had heaters in the ring post corners.
Mm.
So if you get outside the ring, it was like 40 degrees, but inside the ring was like 85.
Ah, huh. Interesting.
Yeah, that's a big secret nobody knows about.
Well, it just got exposed.
But
If you could,
yeah, even those like trips, those are we're generally going like 2 weeks because. Go ahead.
or no, go ahead. Sorry, you were cutting out, so I didn't know if you were done or not. So sorry.
Go ahead. Oh, oh, I was like, even those trips to WrestleMania, those are like 2 week trips because we have to go down there the week before. We're down there the whole week, and then we're on the road that week before that. So it's like a 2 week trip, and then we come back and do Raw, SmackDown, then we go home on Wednesday. So
Nice, yeah. If you could go back in time and referee a match for anyone that has passed
is there
away,
anything else you want to touch on? Bro, 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 bro. Is there anything else you want to touch on? Anything specific, or you want to ask some questions about?
what is the background and reasoning behind the Jimmy Corderas Twitter heat?
Let's say Owen Hart. Because of Corderas didn't know me, judge me or tell me what I should be doing and what I'm doing wrong without even talking to me first. He made it like it was a big, you know. That's my main thing. I've never been one to be. Don't poke fun at me or make fun of me if you don't know me or talk to me. We're not on that level. So when you do that and you do it in the public eye, I'm gonna take offense to it. No one knows except me and right now, and you're not with me. Experience was what happened. Things happen all the time, but it's not. Don't use me and make fun at my expense. I'm not gonna take it too kindly. But
Right,
he made
yeah.
some comments, and I, I can give just as good as you can give me. I mean,
Yep.
before anything, I'm a grown man with kids. Well, at the time with a wife. So don't think you can you know put it on me. So he learned differently,
Yep.
and I stand by that to this day. I mean, if you like to talk about it, don't try to clown me. I'm not. I'm not built like that.
Yep.
But on my end, it's a drop. But if he wants to talk about it again, we can bring it up. But on my end, it's done.
Yeah.
that with me.
What is one thing you
So
would
yeah, it was
tell your wrestling fans?
as far as just the business alone, or just things I've learned, or because
For
I've learned a lot.
just
I mean, even seeing fans, which I didn't think was possible. It would be like 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning, and they're in the airport with stacks of memorabilia and merchandise beside. I mean, I never thought it was a thing, but that's what they do. So
right, yeah.
but
Is
yeah, it's
there
just some.
any
Yeah, go ahead.
is there any time a fan has seen you in public and got like super surprised and or excited?
Yeah, quite a few times. I mean, it happened more than I thought it. I didn't think too much of it. I had somebody make me a sign in Australia, and they're waiting by the guardrail to give it to me. I took it and I took pictures with them. I've had fans in airports, fans in general. I mean, we have just as many fans, as a lot of the workers. So it's wild to see and know, but it's a good feeling to have.
Definitely, yep.
I mean, it's a lot bigger overseas because they don't get to see us as often as rarely. So it's a lot bigger, and I, my favorite place to go is Marseille, France. I love out there. And I had someone bring me, God, like 6 bottles of different wines. I'm a wine drinker. I love wine, Merlot, and I had them bring me that. I had a framed picture of Marseille, a necklace, a silver necklace. So I mean, people are really giving, and treat you very special when you're in this business. So it's great to see it. It's appreciated.
Definitely, yeah, it is. Yep. What is the reasoning behind getting released from the WWE, and how did you react? And did you see it possibly coming?
Um, my what I was told was it was financial because I just signed a new contract, and um, the when I got released, 3 more referees are brought up in my place. So if you can get 3 other guys for the price of one, I mean, it's financial. So, and no, I didn't see it coming. I was supposed to be going to New Hampshire on that Friday for live events. So now it's a shock, complete shock. So, but I mean, I can get over it because they're not the only game in town, and
Yep.
I'm proof of that. I get taken care of better now than I did then. Those are facts.
Right. Yep. What was it like getting to work for Impact Wrestling?
Oh, there you go.
What was it like getting to work for Impact Wrestling?
Impact was different because they tend to do all their shows, within like a few days, well, at the time, a few days. So you cram a lot of hours in those few days. But it was great, working with and seeing some of the guys that I worked with before in WWE. But it's a different experience. But it's it's a different side to everything. Um, I equal it to working for a WoW. They do the same thing. They'll do a lot of their shows in 3 days. So like they'll do like a whole month's worth of work on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, or a Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And each show I think was about 40 minutes without commercials added to. So
Well, that's nice. So yeah.
well, like I said, it's different. They have a different take on wrestlers. I mean, their mindset is not based on just athletics, and I think that's why there's a higher turnover rate because they're not used to. You have people that are some actresses, some stunt women who are not used to that life, and once they get hit or take the bumps, it's a wake up call. So they have to, rethink what they're doing.
Yep. What about getting to work for WoW? What was that like for you?
That was it was another side of the coin because when I do WoW, I would do like the whole be down there for like a week straight. So taping is in LA, and I would fly out on a Sunday, and I would fly back the following Sunday. And at the time, they had rooms at the Biltmore Hotel in LA. So they would have several rings in the basement, production, makeup, everything is down in the basement. So catering was down, everything was down there. So you didn't have to really leave anywhere or go anywhere to, work on anything. It was all right there. So, you get up, go downstairs at whatever time choose, be 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, noontime. Eat, work, talk with the coaches, whatever. And you have all those days to do that. And then come show day. Show days would be Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, or it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And that's when we were taped. And I don't think we ever had an issue. I mean, everything went off like without a hitch. So, but those are the ones you like when it's you have a clear set plan and you know what's expected of you, not just off on your own. It's organized. So,
Right, yeah.
but I like I said, all Caribbean wrestling. That's a whole different animal, whole different thing. Because everyone that's there has been somewhere and knows TV, knows interactions, knows how to work. From the top to the bottom, everyone has a clearer head. I mean, my other partner is Justin King, another former WWE referee. So, I mean, you have the pros in line to do what pros do, which is to give on the best show you can. So, it's not a bunch of
Right,
rookies,
yep.
taking their pick, but it's a bunch of pros doing pro stuff. So, you gotta
Yep.
you get the best, bring in the best.
Mm-hmm. Who would you list as like your top 3 favorite matches you've got to ref in your career?
Um, I would say the top. It's sort of hard to pick because I've worked with everybody. I mean, I worked with Cena, I worked with Orton, I've worked with Big Show, I've worked with Punk. I mean, Daniel Bryan. I've worked with everybody, so I don't. And it's so many matches. I think like I said, the ones that stick in my mind the most is the one with my WrestleMania with the two titles. Um, last WrestleMania, and then my match with Dusty Rhodes when they had the 6 man. with Cody and Goldust. That sticks in my mind probably one of the most because when will you ever see those three in the ring ever again like that? When once we lost Dusty, it's like a history moment. That's something you can't ever get back. So
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, right. Yeah, that must have been really awesome for you to get to do that. That's really cool. So,
well, between that and just experiencing all the greats. I mean, I look at Bray Wyatt. You know, we came up at the same time. We all came up in time. So from Bray to Roman, the Shield. I mean, those it was just that era was just phenomenal. Uh, a lot of people don't know. I designed Bray's boots.
oh,
I
really?
mean, it's just stuff. Yeah, yeah. That's on my Facebook page, but that's just some things people don't understand or realize. You don't have just a referee. I mean, everyone knows something about to do something else. It's not just unheard of for we have guys that make gear, phenomenal guys. Lindsay Dorado, phenomenal gear maker. It's
Yeah,
just a lot of guys can wear a lot of different hats. So
yeah. What was your reaction to hearing the news of Bray passing after getting to work with him?
it was a complete shot. Um, to this day, I mean, it's been almost a year since it happened, and it's still like hard to swallow because he was such a good kid. Well, I say kid because he was younger than me, but he was such a great guy, and it could have, been. It didn't have to happen like that. We're still in shock because he was such a great guy that I can't tell you one time I never saw him smile or laugh. I mean, that's his thing. He loved to have fun. He loved to, hang around and joke around and be funny. And I mean, I've never saw that guy one time without a smile on his face every single time. So I mean, yeah, we lost. Didn't just lose a great worker, a phenomenal mind, a great character, but we lost a great person in this world. And I think about his wife and kids every day.
Yep. Yeah, it was a huge shock to me too. It was really sad. So,
I mean, even look at Luke Harper, Brody,
right. Yeah.
same thing. I mean, in the same group, around the same. I mean, it's just a lot of great guys left us.
Yep. Have you ever personally witnessed a fan coming out of the crowd and trying to attack someone or you at like any shows?
Yeah, it's very rare nowadays, but it does happen. I could probably count on one hand how many times it's happened to me, but because that's like part of the referee's job is to keep your head on a swivel and constantly look for that fan who takes it, a little too far. And we're the first line of defense, so if they get past security, they get in that ring, that's on us. So we can't let that happen. And it's you don't know what somebody's gonna do when they get in that ring, so you don't let them get in the ring, and you definitely don't let them get next to the wrestlers. It's
Yep.
dealt with properly because you don't know what this person's gonna do, what he wants to do, or trying to do, what's his mind. So you stop that immediately before it starts.
Yeah, right. Yeah, of course. What are some of like the best stipulated matches that you have refereed for?
I've done tug of war matches with Mark Henry and Sheamus. I've done strap matches with those guys. I've done a hair match before. Nothing's too far fetched. I've done a bunch of falls count anywhere, no rules match, no DQ. There's pretty much no limit, to one's imagination, especially if they want to give it to somebody. So,
Yep. Would you rather referee a street fight or a death match?
street fight is a street fight. I mean, if there's any blood, we can deal with the death matches. You're bringing in, light tubes, glass, tacks. It's not if, but there's gonna be blood. So I choose not to have all that blood. I think I only did one in my whole lifetime, and that was sort of by accident. But yeah, I choose not to do those.
Yeah.
We get cut up just as bad as everyone else does. So I'd leave that to somebody else.
Right, yeah. With like all the glass shattering and getting into you possibly, so yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to deal with a match and that in line. So with the extra additives of different, glass, tags, weapons, barbed wire, that stuff, you don't need all that for a match.
Yep. Have you ever had any piece of merch that you have had or have that has sold out pretty quickly, or just have merch in general?
I think either a referee shirt or when Dean Ambrose won his first title, I was doing the match when he won his first title, and I believe it was the U.S. title, and he did an interview about that where I raised his hand up, but they made some trading cards off that shot, and I saw those on eBay and everywhere. But between that and one of my ref shirts, I think I signed it for I think my doctor for my surgery I give it to him for orthopedic surgeon. Yeah.
Nice, yeah. And that was like a ring worn WWE outfit?
Yeah.
Nice, yeah. Do you still have many of your ring worn from WWE?
I have a few left. I think my first one, which they don't even make anymore because on the patch it has writing around it, and then I have I believe the ones we used for Cancer Awareness Month in October, and I think on my last one I used because all those, it's funny, but all those shirts that we had Vincent Kennedy McMahon, it was VKM, and that's for the brand, and so it had the initials on the shirt. So those they don't have too many left, so I keep mine.
Yeah, interesting. Do you usually get along and become friends with most of the guys you're working with in the ring, like backstage and stuff?
Yeah, we're around each other so much that you either get along or you stay from the person. So we generally all get along on that whole level. I mean, like I said, when you're out and with them more or just as much as your family back home, you have to be able to get along with people like that.
Right, yeah. If you could make a Survivor Series match as you as the referee, who What 5 wrestlers would you put into the Survivor Series match that you get to referee for?
I would say Stone Cold, Brock, Brett, um, Daniel Bryan, and I would say Swerve.
Nice. Yeah, that would be great. Most of like the older legends, so
Yeah, with a little bit, the new guy Swerve. I mean, he's one of my ones I like watching up and coming. I mean, he's just taking over, so he's one of the greats. I did a show with him. I believe it was last year or a year before last. Him and Keith Lee in the Bahamas. No, we were in Trinidad. So, yeah, Swerve's a good guy, great worker.
right, yeah. He definitely evolved from what was in WWE now to AEW.
Well, he's given that chance. Now that he's given that chance to shine, a lot of guys don't want to go backwards because to get that spot back, I mean, it's almost impossible. So, all the guys who appreciate it, they take off and they just shine, and they don't want to go backwards. So, it's hard to keep those spots.
Yep. If a movie was made about your career, who would you want to play you?
I really can't say because there's only one me. Nobody can be me. I'm different a lot of different ways. So I mean, to find somebody that can be me, nah. God broke the mold when he made me, so nah. Me, only me can play.
Right. Who is your favorite horror character and favorite horror movie if you have one?
My favorite horror movie,
Yeah, and
I would
character.
say it with the clown. Is that's right? Right with the clown.
Yeah, with Pennywise.
Yeah, that's I would say it.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, I like Chucky.
It's Chucky got so at first it was scary, then it got too comical. So I'm not really a uh, Freddy Krueger. I like that. Some of his are good too. But yeah, I would say it. That's
Yeah. I well like you said it got comical. Yeah, I don't really like the current Chucky. I like all like the old Chuckies.
yeah. I uh I like one too that was called 13 Ghosts. But they only made one, so I mean I love it, but it could be better if they make, a few sequels to it.
Yeah, yeah. What would you say is like your favorite music to listen to in your spare time?
I like a lot of surprisingly, I like a lot of oldies, like a lot of old R&B groups. I'm like a sort of creature of habit, so like certain songs remind me of certain things that happen in time. So this song might, you know, played when this happened. So I usually associate songs with moments in time. So I'm open to a lot of different songs, but I like a lot of R&B. You can never go wrong with R&B, and like, you know, I go back to like stuff like New Edition and like Johnny Gill and those kind of stuff. That's what I grew up on. So
Yeah. What would you say has been the funniest thing a fan has said to you before?
uh, I've been invited. They still tried to ask me if I could come back to my hotel room and hang out. I was like, no. I'll be. They invited themselves back. I was like, nah. So there's no limit to what a fan would do or ask if they, especially the ones who really, really love it and like diehards and like watched it for years. I mean, it was at some point we had to get like our mail address to the school because some fans learned your address. So
Oh wow.
it's not difficult nowadays, for somebody to pick up your address. So I keep my locations, and where I'm going to be at and what I'm doing and like that. I keep it sort of private because you never know who's going to show up, pop up, do this, do that, or So, but yeah, we had yeah, so we had to get mail to the developmental school. But one one thing I did love getting is before he passed, Pee Wee Herman would send me a Christmas card every year. A big time WWE fan. So until he passed, I looked forward to getting those cards. I still have all mine and some pictures.
Wow, that's cool.
Yep.
What would you say is best fan compliment you have received, either at like a show or convention, if you've done any of those, or like signings or anything?
A best fan compliment.
Yeah.
I would say just because my endurance, I mean, for my age and, amount of injuries, you would think that I would be against doing like long matches and a lot of matches, but I I take pride in that. The fact I can outdo most of these younger guys is that's a plus. I mean, I can do back to back matches and long matches like it's nothing. So I mean, keep yourself in shape and don't slow down. You have to worry about getting older and slowing down. Stay busy.
Right. Yeah. Which wrestler has given you the best advice and or compliment?
Uh, I'd say Steve Kern. Steve Kern has always given me the best advice because when I had to go to Florida, he was like a father figure when I didn't have my father with me. So he would always watch out for me and make sure, you know, just to be on time, be on time, be punctual, be positive, because it can all be gone in in a snap. So if you have your name and your name value, you can rebuild it somewhere else. But just you know, be true to you and what you believe in, and you never have any issues.
Right. Yep. Did you like working with the heels or baby faces more in as a referee?
Hills, because the hills will give you more to work with. The hills will try to. It's easier to work off a hill because then it give you that character, and it's easier being a heel, I believe. Being a face, you're trying to be liked, whereas a heel, it doesn't take much for you to be disliked and despised. So the more
Yeah.
you add to it, the more you add to the match, and the more you can feed off of it. Like when a match is going, I don't want to know every detail of every match. All I want to know is who's up, who's down, and what's the finish. That's it. Because my best response and how I give that back to you is going to be if I respond the same way the fans respond. If I know every detail, all right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I don't want to know all that. I'm going to respond properly like the rest of you guys. And sometimes I don't even know what the finish is. and I have to guess of what the finish is going to be. There's been a few times a few people have done that, or it's got changed on me and they didn't tell me. So you have to respond accordingly. Just if you're good at what you do, you shouldn't have any problems.
Right, yeah. So the earpiece you had to wear for WWE, what type of things did you usually hear in the earpiece?
Um, Times it could be change something around. It could be instructions because I'm the third person in the ring, so I'm getting direct feedback from whoever's on that mic, and it could be Vince, it could be Hunter, it could be Stephanie, it could be Billy Kidman, it could be a number of guys who at the table. So, and Jim, the producer, whoever the producer is for that match. So I could, relay things back and forth. And we had certain signals where we had to do things without talking, as so we had different signals we have to give them back in the camera. Subtle things we do that nobody else knew or picked up on. So it can be anything from time cues to let's end it early. Or if someone's hurt, of course, up to X, and then you know, they'll say, can they finish, the match? Yes, no, maybe. All right, let's take it home right now. So there's a number of things that can be, said and passed to it, but I'm gonna you know, direct, directly involved in that match as a third person because you can have a horrible ref and they make the match just as horrible, or you can have a good one or a great one and they add to it.
Right, yeah. Was there ever a time in your career you ever got kicked out of a wrestling event you were um, working at?
Never. I never got kicked out.
Yeah.
Never, not once. But I have got knocked out by accident or concussed or, things happen, but I never been kicked out of an event. Never. I'm there to work, so.
Right, yeah. What did it feel like getting knocked down when you got knocked down as a referee?
Uh, I would say not. It was more like knocked out. Um, I, so I've been knocked out like that. I've been super kicked by things happen, but a lot of times. But for the most part, you get through it. But just waking up and plus there's concussion protocols and in place now to where you have to get us on the sidelines or wait out 2 weeks to 4 weeks or get cleared. So other things are in place just for your benefit, and it's not to be mean, but it's there to make sure you stay healthy and continue on. So
Right, yep. What has been the worst injury you've received in your wrestling career?
um, the worst, I think it'd be my left ankle. Um, I don't know if you can see it or not, but I tore my Achilles and all the ligaments and tendons in my ankle. So the only thing that's still mine in my ankle are my bone and my muscle. Everything else is replaced with other parts. And I have screws, anchors, wires. Uh, yeah, so I have a lot of metal in my ankle. But that took pretty much about, I want to say, better part of a year and a half to 2 years to get over.
Oh wow.
The surgery was brutal, but everything I've had, torn meniscus, PCL, ACL, and those were nothing compared to my ankle. Ankle, that was the worst pain in history. I kid you not, that was the worst. Well, for one, the surgeon didn't even know
Yeah.
what she's going to go into. So she said when she opened my ankle up, it looked like wet tissue paper because it was just like flapping. There was nothing that she can salvage. So she had a
Wow.
bunch of other tendons and ligaments laying in the tray to attach to my ankle. But yeah, that was probably the worst from length of time out and pain.
Right. And did this happen in like the WWE?
Yeah, it was over time, just constant damage to it because I never really had a good amount of time to heal up from something. So it could be something from like taking this bump or this, you know, tear a little bit, tear a little more, tear a little more. And if you're on the sidelines, you don't get, you really can't, you want to give your spot up to somebody else. So you try to stay in as long as possible. So when I actually getting released was probably my sign because that's when I had it done. So that's probably a good thing that came out of it.
Right, yeah. What would you say has been like the worst bump you have taken in the ring?
Uh, I would say I took it's called an inverted power slam. So you know how a power slam, you take it, chest to back, chest to chest, and you land on your back. Okay, well I took one that was basically his chest was on my back, and he power slammed me, but instead of like coming down with me, he just threw me in the air. So
Oh,
yeah, so he threw me in the air, and I went up. And I thought he was coming down with me, but he just let me go. So I was over his head.
wow.
But I've taken super kicks from Seth Rollins. I've taken a crossbody from Kane. It was a match. It was Seth Rollins versus Kane, and I don't think Kane knew that Seth was gonna push me in the way. So he's supposed to hit. Kane's supposed to come off the top and land on Rollins, but Rollins pushed Kane in front of me, and he's like, "Oh my God!" And mid-flight, he thought he crushed me. I was like, "Nah." I was like, "I don't have to." It was good. It was fairly light. It's just
Right, yeah.
somebody, or like I'm not gonna sit there and like roll back on my heels and let you smash me. So, no, they take care of you for the better part of it. They take care of you. Nobody doesn't try to hurt you bad, especially for refs. What else
Yeah.
I've taken? I've taken a flying forearm smash from Bray Wyatt,
Hmm.
which shattered my nose, just busted me all open.
Oh wow.
I've had at the time he was Antonio Cesaro, but in AEW he was by what Claudio. He broke my
Yep.
nose one time. Uh, he went to hit the ropes, and he hits the ropes differently. He hits it like reaching back. So when he came back to reach for the ropes, he backhanded me with his fist and just shattered my nose. And he felt so bad about that. But nah, he took me to the hospital and sat with me until everything came back. And then I got the X-rays, and we're coming back. I was like, I was supposed to go on the road the next day, so that had to be pulled from me. So I had to wait 2 months to heal up from that before I go back on the road. So,
Oh wow.
but yeah, I had my nose broke twice. Once by Claudio Cesaro and one by Bray Wyatt.
Wow. Was there any time you have got physical back with like any wrestler or got physical in any type of way in a match?
Um, as far as like part of the match,
Yeah.
um, rarely, but it happened. We were doing a match with I want to say it was Damien Sandow. Oh no, it was Simon Sandow versus Victor, and the referee came out and he tried to change a call I made. And I said no. I turned my back, and he turned me around and tried to clothesline me, and I ducked and I hit him with a RKO. So
Mm.
there's there's moments. I mean, clotheslines are usually the thing, but RKOs and centers are those are like for the big spots. So it all depends. But yeah, when things need to be mixed up, I'm not against it. So
Right. Yeah. If you could have a match with any referee during the time you were in the WWE with any of those referees, who would you want to have a match against?
um, I think probably Chad Patton or Chad Patton or John Cone. Just because I like, I
Yeah.
mean, they would it'd be it'd be what it's meant to be. It wouldn't be something like just a throwaway match. It'd be something they'll give you a show.
Right. Yeah. Definitely, since they're like legendary referees still
Yeah,
in WWE to this day.
yeah. Well, John Cone is he's in town relations now, so he's in the office now. So he no more effing for him. But Chad's still there.
Right. Yep. And then there's the original Charles Robinson, who's still there.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of these guys are slowing down a little bit. I think they the new levels are coming in now. The young kids, so they're getting shots, and these guys are getting more time off, which is not bad. So it's about due for that because before it was like this. When I was coming in, it was more so guys would do like I would do say like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday, Tuesday, and come on Wednesday, and then at Thursday we had to do NXT. I had to go down to NXT Thursday and do Thursday, and then back over again Friday, Saturday, Sunday, live events, then Monday and Tuesday, and then home Wednesday. So, but now they split it up, so which is a good thing because I mean
Right. Yeah.
that kind of schedule is hectic.
It is. Yeah. Now they only have NXT in Florida, so that's pretty much easier for a lot of the talent that they have there and a lot of the people.
Yeah, NXT. Well, they have a lot more than what we had when we were coming in. Because when I came in there, it was FCW, and then it switched over to NXT. And then by the time they moved to Orlando, I was out of developmental, and I was on the road full time. So I never went to. I went to visit the performance center, but I never had to report there. But they had so much more and got so much more than we had. I mean, when we had when we had to do shows, we didn't have a tour bus or flights or we had to drive there, and we never really got a chance to do pay-per-views out of different states. So they have it like a lot better than we had it.
Yep, most definitely. Was there any time you have had to hit a fan member for something, for coming over the border, or?
Uh, no, I never really had to hit them. I mean, it'd be more like a just a front face lock, or put them on a hold until security gets there to get them. I mean, like I said, I could count on one hand how many times I've seen it or happened to me, but it's I'm glad it's calmed down more because they start getting more severe with the punishments as far as like trespassing and getting banned from different events for life and different arenas. So um, once the punishment became more severe, then it calmed down a lot. But I mean, it used to be where they would throw batteries in the ring. I mean, chairs. So I'd rather have that than be hit with a battery.
Right. I'm guessing there was a lot of other things thrown at you during your time as well, right?
Um, Cups. I mean, it's rare, but they don't throw it too much because first the price of all that food and drink, so they don't want to waste their money on that. But if there's a match that the ending really pissed somebody off, I mean they'll throw unhurt like I said, food or drinks or popcorn. But I don't think I've been ever hit with anything that was heavy enough to hurt me, like no ECW style stuff like chairs, but
Yeah.
no chairs and nothing like that. But yeah, but I've been hit with my share of like food and drinks.
Right. Would you rather join DX, NWO, APA, or BWO?
APA. I've always loved APA. I always loved their style, their work. I mean, just how they, in their back playing cards and they get a payoff to go hit the ring or do something, and the music hits and that Bradshaw and Farouk hit the ring. But yeah, about APA without a shadow of a doubt. APA.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it would have been cool to see like a referee in APA because there was Nick Patrick who was part of NWO.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, APA. That'd be a great one.
yeah. If you could work referee for any wrestling company right now, say if you got asked to come back to the WWE, asked to work for AEW, TNA, New Japan, NWA, what company would you work for?
I'm with them right now. With Arkham Wrestling, this is the next. It's the next hottest thing. Next hottest thing to hit the market. I mean, if WWE asked me, I probably wouldn't. Already been there. I've been through that lane. I don't like going backwards too much. Uh, it's a different era, different people, different things. Um, Impact, I did that too. TNA. I haven't did AEW, um, but right now, what we're doing is well over comparable to AEW. I mean, we have talent from there. You know, we travel all over overseas, which I really love doing. I love the overseas traveling. Um, our promoter, JB, cool. He's a worker. He takes care of us better than all those companies combined. We want for nothing. We are in the best resorts, the best hotels, flights, on group flights. We are. I mean, what can you want? I mean, this is where you want to be when you have freedom to do things like that. You can talk. You have an opinion. You can speak your mind without fearing retribution. You can have the freedom to do to go places. We have buses that pick us up. I mean, you know, I don't I don't see any of those other companies that for the talent. We're really taken care of. We're treated very nice, very good. Um, I like to be treated. I like to be where I'm, being treated nice and treated fairly, and people see, your good effort, your good work. We have the top of the line camera people, photographers, media. We have office staff. There's nothing that's not on their level. We have our level is way above all the other ones. So I mean, look, we have Mark Henry. He's our GM. I mean,
Yeah.
Elijah Burke, the Pope. He's with us. Our champion. I mean, JTG. He's with us. I mean, go on the list. Jay Rios, Kenny King, Lindsay Dorado. I mean, it's a list. Go down it, and you'll find pro, 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 pro. So yeah, all our champions are people who've been places, done things, and are pretty much the best at what they do. So I mean, we're a safe, well knit, well built crew of individuals who are taking over. So I'm proud to be a part of this. I'm right where I want to be and need to be, and happy at it. So
Definitely, yeah. Are there any funny or interesting road stories from being on the road in WWE or Impact or any time?
let's see. I think of a good one. Okay. Uh, the Great Khali. So we were going. We're leaving Detroit, going to Canada for a live event. So uh, I'm not sure why I asked this so close to the border, but we're coming up on the border, and we were probably like a mile, maybe two from it. And I said, Kali, can you pull out your passport and everything? He's like, what passport? I was like, what do you mean? He's like, what do I need a passport for? I'm like, we're going to the country. I was like, oh my God. He's like, I forgot it. I was like, all right. So I call the the producers for that show were Arn Anderson and Billy Kidman. So I tell them, and they're like, oh, well, get him here. Very decent magic, get him here. So I pull up, and with Great Khali, we always had to be a big car because of the size. So I think we had
Yeah.
like all black plate. So I'm driving, and I pull up, and I don't even think they gave me a chance to like give my paperwork. They just said point that direction, which means go pull over there. We pull up to the office to get out and get inspected, and like four guys with rifles come out and escort us inside. I'm like, all right, here we go. So I'm like, Kali, just sit down. Let me figure this out. Let me talk to them and see, what we can do. So I'm talking. Next thing I know, it's this big shadow come over me. And it's Kali. I'm like, Kali, please sit down. So then comes six guys this time with rifles coming out the back. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna get shot in Canada. So after a few negotiations, they let us in, but Kali had to pay like a fine or a fee or something like that. But I think it was like $1,200, 600 to go and 600 to get back. Get back. And by the time we got in and got to the show, Kali's match was over. So they said, "Well, we don't need him now. So go back, take him back to the hotel." So we go back to the hotel. Right. So Kali was $1,200 lighter, and we just went back and went to the bar and had a few drinks. But it was something always like that. Something always happening. Something crazy, weird.
Wow. That was interesting.
Yeah, I didn't see it happening. I mean, like with us, we've always had like even backup passports because we had to have a backup one in case ours gets stolen or we lose it or so. They always had like two passports for us. We had one that was a regular one that expired like at the regular time. Then we had one that expires like a year later. So we always had like a backup if we need be.
Yeah. And Collie wasted all that money for nothing, apparently.
Yeah, but to him, it's probably dropping the bucket. But nah, it was it wasn't funny at first, but now I can I can laugh about it.
Right.
But something funny, if we could write a documentary or make a movie, just put cameras in the corners and just record, and they'll get plenty of footage.
Was Collie good at English? Was
Uh, yeah, he's pretty decent. Yeah, he's pretty decent. Especially when he's hungry. He loved IHOP. Eat IHOP for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. He loved it. I think his favorite thing to eat were uh, like a 12 egg white omelet, and I think like 6 to 8 wheat pancakes, and yeah, he loved IHOP. That was like his daily eat.
wow. Have you ever refereed or done anything in Wisconsin before for any wrestling events?
Uh, WWE quite a bit in Wisconsin, Green Bay, Milwaukee. Yeah, we're out there a lot, several times a year. It gets really cold,
Yep.
but I'm I'm okay with the cold because where I'm at, it's I like kind of consists the divisive seasons. If it's winter, it's gonna be winter. If it's fall, it's gonna be summer, spring. I'm not too. I like the cold a lot.
Right. Yeah, up here in Wisconsin, it's horrible for the winters. So
Yeah, between that and I want to say it's a place in Nebraska that's between Wisconsin and Nebraska. You guys have the coldest I've dealt with. So
yeah,
but so it's good for the long drives. If you drive far, roll the window down to keep yourself awake. So
right. Yeah. You ever have to drive through any blizzards?
uh, twice I had to go through one going through Fort Wayne, Indiana, and we ended the show early because the blizzard was coming through. So we had a show that like ended at like 5 o'clock p.m. on the dot, and we were out of there. Uh, and then I had to go through a blizzard. I believe it was Minneapolis. Yeah, Minneapolis, Minnesota, and That arena has like where everyone parks inside the building, and then they let this big door open, and you drive out. Well, when they let the door open, it was like uh, this all white blizzard. Just so me and Santino drove. Well, he likes to drive anyway, so technically he drove. I rode in the passenger seat, but he was used to it, so I forgot how far we were going, but we were going like it was far enough. And with the blizzard, I think we stopped like around 4 o'clock in the morning, and we are still like a good hour, 2 hours away from the building. But yeah, I remember that specifically because it was a pay per view, and with the pay per view,
Oh wow.
yeah, it was a pay per view when we left. That yeah, so that'd be somewhere in I think February. But yeah, he's the driver of the bunch. I don't like driving too much or too far. I just been in a car cramped that long. So I mean, right now, if anything's over like an hour and a half, 2 hours, I'm not driving. I need a flight. So
Yeah.
even back then, if it was like a long, 4 hour flight, anything over like 150 miles, I'm getting a flight. I'd rather fly in that night or that day and then have like a good rest and do all that. So
Right. Yeah. Because those long days of the wrestling events, it's probably a long day for all of the talent and you guys.
yeah, well, we had to be in the building at the earliest 11 a.m., but at the latest, I think 1 p.m. So, uh, and if you're getting in like around, I remember there was a time I got in, I think I got in at like, I think it was like 8 a.m. And we took Mysterio's bus, Rey Mysterio. It was me, our truth, Mike Kyoto, and we're on Mysterio's bus. We went through a snowstorm. So, I mean, it was great because we had beds, but the bus driver pulled in like at 8 in the morning. So, I mean, 8 in the morning, then we got to be in at, so I think we went in later like that day. So, probably 2 o'clock because the snow. But
Yeah. If you could have any band or singer perform for you, such as to like do an entrance of your own, who would you want to perform?
what? I like Swerve's interest music, and I like Randy Orton's, and like the old Brock Lesnar when he first came out. So whoever does those, I would pick them. I like that style and that it's, or even like the guy who did Stone Cold. Like that music, that interest music is like iconic. As soon as you hear it, you know it. So, but
Yep.
yeah, I love, absolutely love, and I would take their interest music. I would like, because I mean, Randy's is Randy's. Brock has that, that menacing, like, and Stone Cold, the glass breaking, that just does it all. But those are like songs, as soon as you hear it, you know who it is. You can like, be in complete darkness and hear those songs, and you know who's coming out. Even the
Yep.
Rocks. I mean, yeah. Oh, and Swerve, yeah, Swerves too. Those are the ones I put on my list of all-time greats.
Most definitely, yeah. I think also the Undertaker, you could definitely tell about him too. The first ding, and
Yeah, that gong. As soon as you hear gong, I agree on that one too. I mean,
yeah,
aren't even from over here, from this country or from other countries, they hit that gong. They know what it is and who it is. So I agree with you on that one.
Yeah. What would you say has been your least favorite wrestling move to receive?
Uh, Brainbuster or Power Driver, because either way you can drop in your head, and you're not sure that person will protect you enough to make sure you're okay. I mean, and let's be real. I mean, look at all the injuries that we've seen, where getting dropped in your head, your neck goes wrong. So pretty much each time someone is giving one of those, uh, something went wrong. So I don't particularly like taking those no more. But
Yeah.
everything else, like clotheslines, super kicks, drop kicks, those are, just throwing a clothesline, hit me right here. Don't aim for my neck, don't aim for my nose, my face. Just hit me right here and hit me enough for me to take me down. Don't just tap me. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, you can Bradshaw me, clothesline from hell me. I mean, something I can feel.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know Big E, he can't wrestle again. I
Yeah,
don't think so because of his neck.
yeah,
And then there's Jason Jordan.
yeah. All these guys have my phone still. I uh, I talked to Ia probably a month or two ago, but he would like to, but it's your health is more important. So yeah, he had a short career
Yep.
and can't wrestle again. Then so be it. It's in the cards, but he can always, there's other things to do besides that. So, but yeah, that was just
Right. Yeah.
it's too risky, I believe. So it's not worth it.
Yeah. I think Big E will stay with the company and do other stuff. It looks like he's been doing like the the pre-shows for most of the pay-per-views and stuff. So
Oh yeah. Plus, he's been scouting. He's like an ambassador. I mean, there's so many other jobs. I mean, and they can do. I mean, naturally, he's an athlete, so he wants to, be in there and, you know, bang around the other one big guys. But you can only do what you can do. So, but he knows talent. And he's, been around the athletes his whole life, so he's good at scouting. He's good at. They'll put him in a good spot where he can, flourish and, have the rest of his career done. Same way Jason Jordan. They tend to look out for other guys.
yep. If you could do any signature move from any other wrestler, what signature move would that be?
If I could do it,
Yeah.
um, I'd like the Canadian Destroyer. The Canadian Destroyer, and I also like the Spanish Fly. But they, like guys like Andrade, he's been doing it like a little different. Him and God, what's the other guy's name? They've been doing it a little differently. Instead of like you doing like a regular Spanish Fly, where he's facing the guy's facing opposite direction of you, where they're doing it, you know, where the guys you're like side by side and doing it. I like seeing that done. That's different. But yeah, I like the Spanish Fly, and those are ones my Can Destroyer. I mean, you see, you know, Dustin Rhodes doing it, and at his age, he's still doing it and doing it good, and his height. So if he can pull it off, I mean, he makes it look great. So
Right. Yeah. And he's a current champion too. So I mean,
yeah, so he's doing something right. I saw Goldie last year at a seminar we had in Florida. So he's still looking good, doing good. You know, he ages well, ages backwards like Benjamin Button. So
Yep. Do you do any like types of conventions, meet and greets, or like signings usually with the fans? Because I know like in America there's like the WrestleCades, the WrestleCons, where they bring in all the talent. Do you ever get asked to do any of those?
I was asked a couple times, but I was either overseas or had some dates booked already with All Caribbean Wrestling. So that's pretty much where a lot of my dates fall through because I have to give them first pick my dates. So um, I get I get my schedule first, and then if there's any holes or any dates that are not used up, then I go and fill them up. But they have first pick. So, but that's the only reason if I didn't do it because of that. Because we even WrestleMania weekends we do shows every weekend for WrestleMania. We did Philadelphia this year. We did LA last year. We'll be doing Vegas, and we do we have done TV in Miami, but we're doing
Wow, nice.
Atlanta now. So it'll be Atlanta will be the spot now.
Nice, yeah. That'll be fun.
So, but yeah, we do.
What
But
what usually gets you hyped for a match that you were gonna be in to be refereeing as?
um, I mean, all matches give me hype, but like when things have to be done like perfectly without something happening, it has to be like done on time or on the nose. It has to be something like because I like to I'll flourish in like those spots, those hard spots where people get nervous or I don't get nervous. I want to go. Let's do it. I mean, I I just like pressure. I always have. Everything I've done has always been a pressure thing. So you know, even when people ask me how do I do TV or in these arenas with all these people, I was like, honestly, when you get in there, you don't see individual faces. It's like a blur, like dots. I mean, I was always a person that was like had stage fright. When you literally get out there, you don't see like individual people until you get right up on them. Other than that, they're just like just a massive dots. So, but I've always liked occupations that are high pressure, like So anything that has to do with pressure, like something like either a bump or a spot or like we did a show in Jamaica. We did a match had a match with Elijah Burke, Pope, and the match it went a good amount of time, and then we had like the struts and lighting. So we had like the like the old like WWE had those old riggings where they had had the guys climbing on top of the riggings. Well, we had to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, so Elijah Burke and his opponent went climbing up the struts, so I had to get up there with him. So we're climbing like we didn't get too high, but we got high enough. We were like probably 15 to 20 feet off the ground. So, but yeah, he got his leg caught him there and had to get him loose. I mean, sometimes things happen. You gotta act on the fly. So just go with it.
Yep. What was your favorite thing to do after all of your matches that you ref for?
Um, after all the matches, I mean, because generally after all the matches, we everybody goes back, and either hangs out like the Bahamas. We'll get done in the Bahamas after the matches, and we'll probably go down to the beach and hang out, have a a few drinks, or we may hit the club and music. I mean, there's so many things that we do, but we do them always, like as a group. So that part, that part is like part of it now. That's like our ritual where we go and just hang out. I mean, the last time we were in the Bahamas, we went out like every day, even at night. We were like playing volleyball on the beach at like 10, 11 o'clock at night, midnight. Uh, and it's so warm out there, or we're like hanging out in hammocks, or you know, we had a we had a club inside of our hotel, so we may go, everyone listen to music, go down and hang out. And so it's as long as we do it as a group and as a family, that's all that matters. So, but we always do that. We'll play cards or dominoes. I mean, that's just us. So it's never any drama. It's always family first and friends. So that's how we treat each other. So we love being around each other and just sitting back and like going over the whole night. What things went wrong, what things went right. How can we do better at this or that? So yeah, to me that's besides the show, that's my R&R time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. What has been your most all-time favorite venue you have got to ref at in your career?
Um, I think the venue was Madison Square Garden. Um, but I think like the place was either I'd say Jamaica or Trinidad because that was on my bucket list of places to wrestle in. I mean, or to work in. I've always wanted to do Trinidad and Jamaica, and I did those with All Caribbean Wrestling. So um, I think next is Puerto Rico, and I believe Guyana is on our list of places to go to, and Barbados. So we're all over.
Nice. Yeah.
We're going.
Yeah. That should be fun. You guys should
Yeah,
come to Wisconsin sometime.
we'd love to. We can check into that. We can have find a nice good venue. Like now we have a 4,000 seat arena for Jamaica. I'm sorry for
Oh
the
wow.
Bahamas because we just pack out every place we go to. We packed out the one in the Bahamas last time, and we need a bigger venue because we couldn't pack anybody. We're turning people away, so now we have to go to a 4,000 seat venue. So we plan to pack that one out too. So
Wow.
like, yeah, by all means, I wouldn't mind going to Wisconsin. It's been a minute. I got people up there still, so yeah.
All right. Yeah. And you mentioned working at the Madison Square Garden. How did that feel the first time getting to work in a lot of people's dreams, dream place to work at?
Well, because it's so iconic and it has such it's legendary and had so many epic events there that if you that's like the mecca of work Madison Square Garden, you've made it, you've done it. So um, it was just get a chance to go in and see all the different the legendary memorabilia, pictures to the talent to the place itself, and I mean going outside and walking around is just one thing, but actually being inside and seeing it, it's something different. So it's something you mark on your bucket list of things to do.
Yep. How many WrestleManias did you referee for in your career?
I did three. I did I did one that was in Miami, but I did mostly access matches for that, and then I did the one in 2013, and that was the one in um, New York and New Jersey, and that's where I had the title matches. And then my last one was 2014 in uh, Louisiana, New Orleans.
Nice.
I mean, generally there's so many key matches that most of the time everyone only gets like one, but for that one they gave me two, so I enjoyed that. I mean, you can still see it on YouTube or on website www.com on Peacock. You can just pull it up and see everything. So it's a reminder. It's a good reminder.
Right. And there's probably DVDs still out there.
Oh yeah, just tons of stuff. I mean, I pulled up something up a while ago, and I believe it was one of Roman Reigns' first matches at NXT when he was developing his character. But you know, these days you can look back, like see where you've been at and where you come, and you look at some people making their debut, and like you were there for that, you're here for this, and but it's I think my schedule was so packed for like 5 years straight from doing almost every pay-per-view to and how many matches I've seen. That's why I say it's so hard to pick just certain ones because I've done so many. I've done so many I forgot a lot of them. So, but just
Right.
going like picking a certain time, I'm like, okay, I can do. I remember the what was it Elimination Chamber. I remember that because that was with Randy when he won both titles, and you know locking those cage door unlocking the cage doors. So things pop in my head, and then like it was on a cover of like a magazine because walking out, he was standing down the aisle with both titles over his head, and you had a certain picture of all the refs, and I'm like at the end, like looking disgusted. I'm like, but it's like certain things that pop in your head, and like that remind you of certain times in history. But yeah, I've yeah, what else? I think like doing SummerSlam. Just certain days like that too, and dates. And just remember so many things. So I just once in a while I just probably pull up and just look through like certain years and pay-per-views and like, oh, I remember that. I remember that. I remember that match. I remember a match with Randy Orton and Daniel Bryan, and having to separate those guys, and and or when when Taker stabbed Brock in the hand with a pin. I remember that because that was one of the referees. I had to go out
Oh
there and
yeah.
yeah, I remember that perfectly because I had I think I had the towel holding it and like helping him back. But it's just certain thing like that. You remember there was a match with Dean Ambrose when he's I think it was against Kane, and he had Kane on the outside, and there's something like a certain picture that they got on camera where I'm like yelling to him, I'm like, "Don't touch me, don't talk to me like that. I'm the official." But I mean, we were like each other's faces. It's like this thing like that you remember those moments in time, those pictures. I got tons and tons of stuff. There was, a photographer that sent me gave me I believe it's like an 8 foot by 4 foot pic of me doing a match with Val Venus and D'Lo Brown, and that was back in like '97, I think, '97 or '98. That's when W guys could do other smaller shows, but just that, and I had Val Venus and D'Lo Brown sign it. So I mean, I have just so much pictures and memorabilia, thoughts and memories. So.
So you refereed for the D'Lo and Val match, or you actually wrestled?
I refereed that match. I I refereed
Oh,
the match Edge that night. It was that was back when WWE allowed their guys to work other shows. So I believe I I'm also positive. I almost believe I refed like the last match Yokozuna was in. It was like a battle royal in Fresno, and yeah. Then after that, I believe he passed away not too soon after. So I mean, there's a lot of things I remember in history. I mean, I was around this for 30 years straight. So I'm gonna rip you all.
yep. What would you, where has been like your most favorite foreign country you've been in for WWE? Such as like being there for like a pay per view or just like a WWE live event, such like that. So
Um, the favorite country I visited with them was probably Australia. Uh, when they did Europe, we would switch the crews into like Raw and SmackDown. So like one crew would do like all of England, and you have tour buses, whereas the other crew would do flights, and we'd fly the after the show we fly to the next country. So one night we're in like France, and then the next night we're in Switzerland. Next night we're in Germany. Next night we're always someplace different. So how many days, whatever it was, we'd be gone that many days. So I mean, there's even one time I think we went to China and we took a flight from I want to say I want to say Austria, and then I'm not sure how they lined that up, but we went to China as well. So in the other crew, like and we switch off. So if your crew took all flights this time, then the next crew, then the crew next time would do the tour buses, which was great because on the tour buses you had, I mean, they'd be like full on, you know, like rocker style tour buses, and it'd be like 4 or 5 of them. So you can like choose to be on like the producer bus or the chill bus or the tired bus. But I would always get on the the party buses. We play cards, play music. We they'd have drinks on the tour buses and food. So I mean, it may have been like a 4 hour trip, but you know 4 hour trips with everybody on there having a blast and playing music and singing and dancing and it went by fast. We get in like around probably like 4 in the morning their time, which I mean that's probably like I think 6 p.m. my time. So we're wide awake, but we get in at 4 a.m. and the hotel would have the restaurant open, and you just go in, order what you want, eat, and then you can go to bed or you can go hang out in a ballroom and play some more cards, talk, chill, hang out. But most of the time, when the sun's coming up, everyone else is trying to get some hours of sleep or go just walk around the city or see what's landmarks or whatever. I went to the opera house in Australia and got some pics there, and maybe got some souvenirs or whatnot. So, but Australia is definitely one of my favorites with them. Um, Marseille, France was my all-time favorite city with them because it's on the water, and I always loved like the um, the look because it reminds me so much of Greece because it's on the water, like literally on the water. So the way their architecture and like their hills and land masses and the way it's set up, it looks just like Greece. So I definitely would love seeing Greece, but yeah, those are my two favorite places I've been with them.
yeah, definitely. And about the buses, I mean, you would probably want something to do on that long time drive. So
Yeah, we always keep each other busy. Even laughs, jokes, guys playing ribs each other, and plus the bus. I mean, we'd have like all the top guys in that bus. So
Yeah. What are some of like the worst or best ribs you've seen?
uh, some of the worst. Uh, all right, so this one happened. It happened against Cody Rhodes. So he had to do a interview live on like Raw. So he comes out and he's showing us his brand new suit. It has like a brand new like 3-piece suit. The tag's still on it. He has everything like all laid out. And so he goes in the bathroom and he comes back. I can't say who did it, but I know when he came back out, his suit was wrapped up with duct tape the size of a burrito and left on a hanger. I don't know how they did it or how it's possible, but they duct taped the suit so small and so tiny, and it's with gaff tape. It's not really duct tape; it's gaff tape. So it's the tape we use when we're running cables or taping stuff down or taping the canvas down or the cushions down. It wasn't easy to get off. I know that, but yeah, his suit was the size of a burrito, all the way in duct tape. I was like, oh my god,
Wow.
I'm getting out of here before he comes back.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, guys have no limits. I mean, their only limit is their imagination. I heard, I'm not gonna say who did it, but I heard of some guys like driving on the side of the road and like getting like wildlife they found on the side of the road and putting in people's bags. I heard of one where a guy put an armadillo inside of someone's gear bag. So I've heard of guys, you know, cutting the pockets out of people's pants, their suits, or guys passing out and tying cans to their shoes and knots. Instead of go to the airport, kicking cans around their ankles, or guys using cutting up ponytails or taking off like Nair shaving cream when you put on your hair. It
Oh,
wipes. So they put on somebody's eyebrows. There's no limit to what a yeah. There's
wow.
their only limit. So, but you have to be sure of who you're ribbing because there's no time limit. So they'll get you back. They may take a week, a month, a year. You don't know when it's coming. So it'd be
Right.
best you're dealing with.
Yep, definitely if you're messing with the bigger talent, that won't be good.
I mean, they may put X-Lax in somebody's food. It's limitless.
Wow. Anytime anyone pops someone's tire or anything like that?
I've seen guys take tires off of cars, like completely off the rental car. Uh,
Wow.
that's that's not heard of. Take the tires off the car and then like flush the lug nuts down the toilet. So I mean, yeah, some guys will break pieces off your car and or they'll break keys off in your car. So you can't. I mean, it's just there's some you can like do, and then some you can like leave a guy stuck for like a day or two. So it just all depends on.
Yeah. Have you had any like stalkers during your time in your wrestling career? Because I know there's been like some wrestlers who've had stalkers here and there. Is there any stories about you having any stalkers?
No. If anything, they're just just some fan that was overly eager and trying to get your attention. So they may follow you to the next town or the next building, the next show, and just show up and like you know anything they can do to get their 15 seconds of fame because they want. If you're acknowledging them, that means they see you. So that means they just want to be seen or being heard. So nothing, nothing out of the ordinary. Just some overzealous fans, but nothing out of the ordinary.
Right. Yeah. Has there been any time you have accidentally broken out of like your wrestling referee persona that you've had to stay in?
Uh, if I did, it wasn't too long. Um, I have a thing with vomit and like spit. So if somebody's like gonna vomit, I get that way. I get like nauseous. So uh, one of the guys kept being chopped so hard, he started throwing up, and that completely like caught me off guard. I'm like, God, I can't be around it. I can't see it. I can't smell it. Uh, actually, that thing is it was one time that happened. It was a match in California. I want to say, God, somewhere down. I want to say down close to LA, I think. And it was a show where it was Gangrel and Luna Vachon was on it. And these two guys that were the heels, they were champions, and they wanted to go over on my two guys, but these guys were like out of shape and like drank the night before, so they like really messed up. So they want to do like this doomsday device finisher on my guys. I'm like, nah. And once they stopped doing that and started throwing up everywhere, I mean, they threw up in the ring on the side of it. I was like, once that was it. So we did an audible and changed the finish. Our guys went over, I did a quick 3 count. We couldn't stop that long and go through that. So he came to the back, and Luna and Gangrel was like, "What happened? What's going on?" So I told them, they're like, "Oh, don't worry about that. If they want to deal with you, they got to deal with me." So, but we weren't worried about it. But that's just how cool we were, like as a group and as a family. Like Luna and Gangrel had pictures of my kids, you know, at their house and in their Bible and on their table stuff. I mean, they just spend so much time with each other that you know they knew my kids and my boys, my daughter. So, but yeah, that was like one time that just that's just the utmost. That's just so gross. I mean, you got to be pretty bad when you start throwing up in the ring.
Right. It would be worse. It would even be a lot worse if somebody threw up and then such like you threw up. I mean,
Yeah,
after man.
I mean, I don't have a weak stomach, but just that because everything else I can deal with. I can deal with. I mean, I can do pretty much anything else. I just can't deal with vomit. Or I don't understand why some guys just spit in the ring, which is the dumbest thing in the world. I mean, why are you spitting in the ring? If you gotta spit, go on the floor. Don't spit in the ring. You gotta, roll around in it.
Right. Have you ever gotten embarrassed in a wrestling match that you were refereeing for due to like a mistake or anything?
Uh, I think it was more so because like there was like my first match on TV was a match with Alberto Del Rio versus JTG on Raw, and I was getting told something in my earpiece from Vince, and instead of telling Alberto, I think I pulled him, and almost could have been disastrous because he was doing something in the ropes where he does like a backstabber off the ropes on the JTG. So I think probably that's like one of my times where I could have, instead of being more verbal. But no, I'm more hard on myself than other people are because I hate being I hate messing up and I hate uh, being misunderstood. So I do my best not to be any of those.
Yeah. What would you say has been like the most scariest slash most dangerous incident in your wrestling career that you've witnessed or possibly been part of?
Uh, I think it was the chair shots that Triple H gave Daniel Bryan um, when he was handcuffed because they were so vicious that it just made you feel uncomfortable. I mean, I put it up there on the same level as the ones The Rock gave Mankind because I believe
Mm.
Daniel Bryan's arms are handcuffed behind his back, so it just and then with the way the brain's being examined and with you know all these concussions and syndromes and stuff. I mean, I think church stuff like that are just senseless now when you see the amount of damage it does. But I think that uh, what else? I haven't witnessed too many bad ones or bad injuries, but I think like Naomi, um, when I was there, she had a match against Oksana, and I think Oksana she stomped on her eye socket and crushed her eye socket. So,
Mm.
and I had that match, and just trying to pass signals and you know and you know making sure everything's seen or heard. Put anybody in in danger or any bad positions. But I think one of the worst times I had was I was doing a pay per view match, and my earpiece got disconnected from my box, so I couldn't hear anything back, and I couldn't get any time signals. So um, we're taught to give a signal because if I go so long without hearing anything at all, I know something's up, and I felt it. My wire had went all the way down to my leg, and I couldn't get to it. So I told them I couldn't hear, and they sent John Cone, I believe, to the ringside to the bell timekeeper, and he gave me hand signals. At least gave me hand signals of like how many minutes left, or all right, let's go, take it. So we did the best we could out of a bad situation, but yeah, that was probably one of my worst.
Right, yeah. That was probably another one of like an embarrassing moment too.
I wouldn't say I'd say more. It was like just that's just how I'm prompted. All right, what are we gonna do to fix it? Because I can't get to it. I can't pass the information longer. All right, we'll send somebody down. They send him down. I didn't even hear him. I just saw him running like hard cam side, and he got by there and just gave me what he could. So, but that's just
Right,
part of improvise. I mean, who would think to do that? Who would think where to look at, and because we control a lot of the things in there, like where to be at, where not to be at, where the camera's going to be there, where and when to pass instructions and when not to. Like I'm not going to sit and be right in front of the camera and I'm talking to you and telling you something. I'm going to do it in a way where my back is to the camera or back to you, or I'm going to hold my hand up and like hide my. There's different ways to do it. Or when I'm down checking on somebody, some guys don't realize there's cameras and mics in those posts, and they pick up everything. So I mean, if you're If you're good, you can do it without passing along or letting people catch you do it. So I was always proud of that. It was extremely hard to catch talking, extremely hard.
You're right. Yeah. Would you rather referee for a blindfolded match, handcuffed to an opponent match, or a dog collar?
Uh, I think dog collar, there's less risk for something to happen because being so close and proximate to somebody with handicap, I mean with a handcuff, or if something's bound to happen because all it takes for one person to be off in their sequence and somebody's getting hurt. Or if a blindfold match, I mean, unless it's like a rigged blindfold, if you really can't see somebody and you're just swinging blindly or moving blindly throughout the ring, something's bound to happen. Either you fall through the ropes or you know hit the wrong person, the wrong thing. So I think dog collar match gives you enough chain to at least interact properly without killing each other.
Right. Yeah. If back in the day, or even now, because you do a lot of refereeing now, if you got told you couldn't medically referee for the rest of your life, what would you do?
I would still say involved in some way, form, or fashion with. I mean, even with um, teaching, with instructing, with producing. I mean, I know so many people, and that, and plus, this is like it's like a drug. Just some people say I'm retired, but then they come back the following year because it's hard to give up. I mean, just the people, the crowd, the reaction, the noise, just hearing that, it's hard to give up. So I'd still be involved somehow. Either, yeah, probably producing, producing matches. Um, but I'd still stay involved. I mean, until I'm no longer here.
Right. Yeah. So say you mentioned about retiring, but say if you could or would have a retirement referee match, like if you could choose whatever two wrestlers to go against each other to be your retirement match as a referee, what two wrestlers would you like to see wrestle to referee for?
Um, I would say Elijah Burke versus JTG, or like Jay Rios versus Lindsay versus Kenny King. We had like, because I don't think we've ever had anything really close to being a bad match. Every time we've had a match where it'd be like a three-way or triple threat, we always tore it down. I mean, every match I can't think of one bad one. So those would always be something great, great engine to go out to bang on.
Most definitely, yeah. What are some of like the wrestling achievements you have achieved in your career, and what are some of things that you are still trying to achieve?
With me, I'm still doing it. I'm still, as long as I'm staying busy and staying traveling, and if this is like legitimately all I do, then I'm doing it. I'm pretty good at it. So I mean, I just say the more places I travel, I would like to go to Japan. Um, I believe that's in the works right now. Africa's in the works right now. So I mean, visit as many places as I can. I mean, and experience the many different cultures and people and fans. I mean, that's the best I could put it. I mean, every time I go to a different place I've never been before, or different country, or it's so I'm still adding stuff to my resume, but um, just keep moving and keep enjoying it. As long as I enjoy it, there was a point where I didn't watch wrestling for several years. I just got burnt out from it. Just but I got that love back. So, and I think I got that back with the different people who I saw myself with. So, this is a great group, great family. So, I'd pick this group, all career rest. I pick them over anybody, over anyone, because
Yeah.
like being having fun with family. I mean, we're putting on a show, but it's I don't consider it work because it's you're enjoying each other and enjoying and putting on
Right.
fans. So yeah, once that stops being fun, then I'll stop. But I don't see that ever happening.
Yep. Do you feel like you are worthy enough to be part of like a wrestling hall of fame, like an indie hall of fame, or anything?
I do, because for someone ever being trained, professionally trained, and to be picked and contracted by the biggest company in the world and consistently being picked by other different companies to represent them with the best talent, you have to be great at something. I was in there with the Randy Ortons, the John Cena's, the CM Punks, Daniel Bryan's, anybody who's been somebody great in my era, I've worked with them. So you have to be worthy of something. If you work with people that others won't or never have a chance to learn or work with. So I believe so. And plus 30 years of doing it, yeah, that's a long time. So yeah, I believe so. But that's not up to me. That's up to somebody else. So
Right, yeah. I mean, I think you're worthy of being in the Hall of Fame. Definitely, like you were saying, since you didn't even get any training, you just started, you got in the ring and just started from there. I mean, then got picked up from the biggest company. That's definitely really big. So I definitely feel like you definitely deserve it.
and then too, for African American referees. I mean, WWE. You know, who was the first? I mean, then the second, and then the third. So, uh, it's it it adds to credibility of why you were picked, why you're assigned, why you're where you're at. So you have to be good. Well, you have to be great at something if you're picked to represent greatness and be trusted to be the one to with the greatest.
Yeah.
But all right, buddy, I have to get going pretty soon. I have to take a call for a business call. Is there any other questions you wanted to ask me before I check out?
Yeah, I'll ask you one more question.
Yes.
Um, that is, would you do you have any advice for me to become a wrestler in or just in the wrestling business as a whole?
As a wrestler, I would say go to a credible school. Don't just go to. Don't think you can become that um, without training because a lot of people are claiming they're trainers and they don't have the credentials nor the veteranship to be in the ring to train anyone. Um, and it's not for like name value, but it's for your own safety because you're getting there and you're somebody's putting their life in your hands. When you work with somebody, you're putting your life in their hands. And I would want somebody to be credible and trustworthy enough to be in the ring with me and me trusting my life in your hands and vice versa. So I've never been in agreement too much with backyard wrestling or, training yourself on a trampoline and, it doesn't work. But I would say definitely get proper training and soak in all knowledge from all points because you can get a lot of more knowledge from there has to be just one person. Be just go around and just listen and learn from everybody because the smallest and you may think the most insignificant person they have knowledge to offer too. But please stay hungry, and if it's something you love and want, go get it.
One second, guys. I'm so sorry about that. It literally kicked me off right at the last question, and it kept cracking and going out as he was answering. One second, guys. I'm going to see. Hey, I'm really sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
No worries. Yeah, I
All
was.
right, so
Yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. So just if you could restart over, do you have any advice for me to become a wrestler?
Yeah, I would say as a wrestler, you're putting your life in someone else's hands, and vice versa. When you work together with anyone, anything can happen. So you want to be the safest possible. And a lot of these places now don't have the credentials to teach people properly. I would say probably go get trained. Train somebody credible who knows, understands, and has some veteranship and some clout and some knowledge of it. You don't have to be a superstar to be able to train someone properly, but make sure they are formal trainers. Make sure they're good. They have a good background, and not just there to take your money. Because when you're dealing with somebody else in the ring like that, like your wrestler, you need to be trained just to deal with them and do each other's safety. So I would say, by all means, and listen to. You can listen to all people, but listen to everyone has to say and use what you can out of each conversation. You can learn something from the timekeeper, from the bellkeeper to a camera guy. I mean, you can learn something from anyone, but you need to know what information is usable and what's not. So I'd say listen, learn and listen from everyone. Go around from each person, whoever will talk to you, and listen to you. Learn from everyone. I've learned so much from veterans, just hearing their stories, how they got through this, how they got through that, how they learned from this. So, I mean, even with Dusty had one story. He said, out of all the people in this business, the best person to watch is Randy Orton because he can catch a camera. He knows where every camera in the building is because that's what sells. Your face sells. If you don't have a camera there, nobody can see you. Nobody can buy your merch. So, but he said, out of all the people in this business, Randy is the best at finding the camera. He knows where every last one of them are. But I would say get trained by someone with clear knowledge and has the background to train, and listen to everyone, no matter who they are, because everyone has a story and everyone has experience in that. Because yeah, it's the wrestling business, but it takes a bunch of different people to make this business run and work, and they all have stories and knowledge to give you and pass down. But that's what I would say. Yeah,
I think. Thank you. I appreciate it.
anytime, definitely. Glad I could. I
Um,
am very much.
yeah, I thank you for taking your time out again to do this interview. It's a pleasure to have you on here.
I really appreciate it. So, yeah. Anything else? You can get a hold of me anytime. We can discuss more. Whatever.
Yeah, definitely. Possibly a part two down the line. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank
Have
you
a
very
good rest
much.
of your night.
You too. I look forward to it. Take care.
Yep, you too. Bye.